Today's video is the type of graphs that we are going to be finding. So, as a review, a positive graph is one that the x's are increasing. So they're constantly increasing. Okay, this means that it is pointing up. A negative line, or nice negative from Mr. Slopeman, is when the x's are decreasing. Now we have two special graphs, which is 0, which is just a straight line, which is when the y's are all the same. So when you look in a table, all the x's will be different, but the y's will be all the same. Let's assume that this is a 0 line of 3. Okay? Undefined is when it is up, straight up and down. This is when the x's, it says x's if you can't really tell, the x's are all the same. Okay? This is when the graph, or sorry, the table will look like this. Let's assume that this is 4. Now the reason why this is undefined is because this is something we really don't want in math. We want to be able to find the slope. Okay? So this would look like this. Not just this for now. So, what's going to happen now is we're going to look at some graphs, and I want you to be able to find what type of graph it is. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay. So I'm going to give you some tables first. We want to be able to find what the tables are. So here's our first one. X, Y. Let's do -4. Sometimes you will be asked to find the slope and what type of graph it is, so we are going to do as such. Now if you remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x. This little triangle just is saying that that means change. So from this number to this number, that number to that number, that kind of thing. So y over x. Okay, so first I want to do my y's. From 6 to 4, if I have $6 now all of a sudden I have $4, that means I lost $2, which is -2. Okay, and I'm going to check and make sure and verify that this is all the same, which it indeed is. Now I have my slope, y, which is -2. Now for my x, from -4 to 0, if I owe you $4 and I do something to make me owe you no more money, I would give you $4. Now, if the negatives confuse you, you can skip this one for a second and verify that all the rest of these are +4, which they are. So now, for my x, my change in my x is 4. If you can reduce this, 100% do. It's going to make your life a lot easier to graph it, and so on and so forth. So the highest number that they both go into, I know, is 2. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And I have to do what I do on the top to the bottom. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my slope is -1/2. If I graph this, it'll have what type of line? Well, I can look and see that this is -1/2, which means my line would be going down, which would be negative. Okay, so we're going to do the next one, and then I have some tricks for you later on in the video. So let's do number 2, which is going to be this one right here. Sometimes you can instantly see what the heck is going on. So, slope, change in y over the change in x. my slope from -3 to 3. I am not moving, so that does not mean nothing. It means if I'm not moving, it is 0. Obviously, all the way down is 0. So my y is 0. Now for my x, it is changing from 1 to 2, plus 1, plus 1, and plus 1. So my change in x is 1. Now here's a trick for you. When 0 is on top, this means that it is okay. It is okay to find the slope of it. If the 0 is on the bottom, it is not okay. And O. Okay? So, 0 divided by 1 would give me a 0 line, which would look like what? This. Now, in the next video, what I'm going to show you is 2 ways to remember if the line is horizontal or vertical, basically 0 or undefined.